to stabilize the grid and make the grid a modern grid, just like any grid you see all over the world, we need to do 4 things, just four things. There are many small things you need to do. Like, for example, you need to modernize the staff, you need to train them, you need to make them, we put in a system that will be digital and all these are small things. But the real big things are 4 that we need to do. And those 4 things that we need to do are: 1, we need to have a frequency control in line with the grid code or the WAP standard. Now, what is frequency control? Frequency control means that you put generators, all the generators that are in the system are supposed to be what they call free governor. That means they are supposed to respond to the demand and supply of the discos. If the discos reduce load, they should automatically reduce their generation without anybody telling them reduce. That is what it means. It's a requirement of the grid code, but it has not been enforced in the past. By the grace of God, as at June last year, we enforced it. It was very tough, but we enforced it, and we were able to achieve 49.5 and 50.5 Hz. I'm happy to tell you that in the last 20 years, we have not achieved that kind of frequency control in the history of Nigeria. Are we at the ultimate? No. We need to go to 49.8 and 50.2, which is the requirement of WAP. The grid code requirement is supposed to be 49.75 and 50.25. But because we are connected to WAP, we have to go to and WAP standard is higher than our standard. We have to go to our standard. I'm happy to tell you also that we have established a strategy on achieving 49.8 and 50.8 Hz. We couldn't implement it because we are waiting for the right time to implement it. So that is 1. So the next thing we need to do is that we need to have what they call spinning reserve. If you look at our daily broadcast now, you will see that the spinning reserve is either 0 or 40. With a generation of 4,500 to 5,000 that we are doing now, we are supposed to have a spinning reserve of 10% of that, which is 450 at least minimum. But we don't have it. When we came in, as at February last year, we actually set up a committee to find out why we are not getting the spinning reserve. And the report of the committee was that the incentive for the spinning reserve was not good enough. That is, the tariff for the spinning reserve is not good. So we wrote to NAC. Unfortunately, NAC did not respond to us on time until this year, maybe sometime in May this year. They responded and they said we should go for competitive procurement of the spinning reserve. And we did the advert. We are now evaluating the submission of the spinning reserve. In the next 1 or 2 months, we should be able to conclude it, and then we'll have spinning reserve. The purpose of spinning reserve is that if there's a significant instability in the grid, meaning you are putting some generators in a mood, that if there's a significant instability, whether some generators went out because of lack of maintenance, this one should pick it so that they will stabilize the grid. That is the purpose of the spinning reserve. So once we have the spinning reserve, this grid will again stabilize more. The next thing we need to have is that we need to have what they call functional SCADA. It will interest you to know that Nigeria has attempted to procure SCADA 4 times and 3 times, and the 3 times we are not successful. We are not completely successful. One of the times that we tried to procure SCADA, I was actually involved because I was the accountant of World Bank project where we did it. And Nigeria spent $46 million on that project, but we are not very successful. So when we came in February again, we set up a committee headed by the current head of ISO. And the TOR of that committee is that tell us why 3 times we attempted to do SCADA and we are not successful. And the finding of the reports were so many. One of the findings is that we have a lot of deficiencies in our control room, which was not fixed when we did the SCADA. The communication backbone is not robust enough, and that's the reason why the grid could not see everything. The scoping of the project did not anticipate expansion, and we have massive expansion under NIPP, which was not anticipated in the procurement of the SCADA. So you have now large aspect part of the grid that came up from the NIPP, which was not captured in the SCADA. So at best now the SCADA can see about 40% of the grid, and even that one there are several deficiencies that the SCADA cannot see. So after we got that report, we now launched the scoping of the SCADA. It was EDF, Electricity Difference, that did the scoping, and they submitted their report in December last year. When they submitted the report, we also have some intelligence reports that indicated that the same company who did our SCADA several times that were not successful were also the contractors of EDF. So we said we cannot use that report like that. We have to subject the report to international conference. And that's the reason why we call International Conference on SCADA, where we brought all the original equipment manufacturers, Huawei, Siemens, ABB, GE, all of them, Navi, all of them. We brought them. They brought four people. And we also brought Power Grid of India, Power Grid of Ghana, which is Gridco, and also a Power Grid of Italy, the biggest grid in Italy, which is called what's the name? Tarna. We brought them to that to Nigeria. We gave them the report 3 weeks, the scoping report 3 weeks before the time. The objective is that we don't want to be tied to anybody. We have been procuring SCADA 3 times, and 3 times the same contractor, and 3 times we are not very successful. So why don't we open our something? Maybe the scoping report is such that it's tailored to one particular person. So that's why we did the workshop. The workshop was very successful. And the workshop also opened our eyes to so many things and has improved the scoping report, which we are now ready to launch the procurement of the SCADA. But the report also confirmed the decision that we took to cancel the contract of the fiber optic, which was a concession contract that was given to 2 Nigerians to manage the grid to 2 Nigerians. Those companies, 2 Nigerian companies, that was in 2006. Now, because the conference confirmed to us that even Power Grid of India, that has 350 gigawatts as we speak now, none of their fiber was concession. And they are using their fiber to manage their grid. Now, if you look at that contract places the use of fiber by the GSM more than the use of fiber by the grid. Now, if you look at every transmission line that is built, every transmission line, there is fiber on it. The purpose of the fiber is not for GSM or for broadband. The main objective is for the control and the management of the grid. The SCADA is a digital form that will see everybody connected to the grid. If he does anything, the SCADA is supposed to see him. But the SCADA is just a software. It's run on a communication backbone, which is the fiber. Unfortunately, we have outsourced our fiber to some people and they have been using it. But unfortunately for them, they didn't pay. And on the basis of non-payment, we cancelled the contract sometime last year. They went to court and we are in court. But I can say the conference also reinforced our belief that what we did was right. And also it came up with the fact that the people who took over that fiber actually did not perform their obligation under the contract to also build the network. Because it's now very clear that we also have to build some of the communication network before we launch the fiber. So very soon you will see a procurement of fiber that TCN is going to do so that we close some of those areas that are necessary. We have to close them. There are many areas that have that shortcoming, but those areas that I'm mentioning is that there are areas that have shortcoming and they are not part of our plan of expansion. So we are not going to take care of them. So that we have to do them. The next but not the least things that we need to put in place is that we need to have critical investment in line and substation. I'm also happy to tell you that in the last 1.5 years, we have installed more transformer more than what has been done in the last 10 years. How did we do it? We did combination of in-house capacity and also taking over contractors that are not performing and we are completing it. That's what we are doing. On the last note, I want to again thank Bio because Bio is one of the greatest supporters we have. And he has also been encouraging us to do the right thing. He's a good friend. So I want to thank all the management of NEMCO for the support you are giving him. Because if you are not supporting him, I'm not sure he will be able to support us the way he's doing. Thank you very much.
Thank you. MD and your team were again very happy to have you around, and I can only say that you've been a friend and your team too, and we've come a long way in the sector. I must also say that from the comments you've made, it shows clearly that you've done quite a lot in the course of the short time you've been at the helm of affairs of TCN. I must also commend the team that handles the power wheel that we see on the television all the time. I don't miss that program. And I must also say that so many of friends and people around me always also commend that program, Power Wheel. I can only encourage that you continue with it. And yeah. So we've had some cause to collaborate with TCN, and I think in the course of that collaboration, we've seen TCN being very supportive to our cause. Particularly, I must mention that the market operation unit, we've had cause to interface with them when we had issues relating to NAC open book review, funds that were due to NEMCO that time, and certain reconciliations were done between NEMCO and the market operator to actually establish what amount was due to NEMCO. In the course of that assignment, TCN was very cooperative, and we can just say thank you for at least that assistance that you rendered to us in NEMCO. Again, we've also had cause to seek assistance from TCN as it relates to invoices relating to IPP PPAs, invoices relating to Shell, Farm 6, invoices relating to AGIP on OPAI, of which information are domiciled in the market operation unit. Again, during that time, we were able to get help from the market operation unit as to the nitty-gritty of those invoices. But particularly, I must attest to the fact that we can feel your impact in the sector, especially in the last few months. I guess more than ever before, the time that we experience light is, we have more hours now of electricity supply than we do enjoy before. And again, the response time to solving some of these electricity-related issues have greatly improved and increased. That just shows that some people somewhere are working. And we are also feeling the impact of the transmission company of Nigeria, even in our meetings. The sectorial meeting, the National Council on Power, our retreat. What that tells us simply is that TCN is not an agency that you can just put aside. So, and that further make me say that your coming here is indeed timely. You have mentioned certain things, especially as it relates to the successor companies. It is a statement of fact that as NEMCO, we've given comfort to the successor companies as far as their liabilities are concerned. I don't think there's any successor company as we speak, either GENCO or DISCO, that have pre-completion liabilities related issues. I don't think so. We've given them comfort, and it wasn't an easy journey anyway, but again, that's where we are set up to give comfort to those successor companies so that they'll be able to actualize and operate without these liabilities weighing them down.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube for more information on the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN.